Welcome back to Factorio Space Age. My name is Nilaus and we are starting a new series. Well, I mean, is it a new series or is it a continuation? Anyway, it's a resurrection of my Let's Play, but in this episode, this series, we are going to be working towards the road to a megabase. And when I talk a megabase, I of course mean having this number being science per minute, 1 million science per minute, and very important, it must be for research productivity, because I've seen other proclaimed masterclasses that sort of skip all the difficult parts, like the Gleba science and Prometheum science, and that's just cheating. We are going to be working our way to get every single one for the research productivity running at 1 million science per minute. Is it going to work? Is it possible? I don't know. Are you going to lose interest? Am I going to lose interest before? I have no idea, but we're going to be trying it. And this is going to be this series. It'll be rather erratic because I'm going to be streaming it on Twitch. So do check out my Twitch schedule on Discord. And it'll be sort of running over the summer and be just like an episode once in a while whenever I have something new to tell you. And I think that's how it's going to be. So if you think this is interesting for a new series, then be sure to hit the like button, leave comments about ideas. We're going to be doing a lot of things because we need to sort of really squeeze out. We're going to be using a lot of big spaceships. We're going to be doing quality for some things. And yeah, it's going to be like leveraging all the features, all the things that we have, and learning new things as well. So let's dive in while you're hitting the like button, right? Also, I should say that Masterclass series continues, and same as with the Masterclass, the blueprints that I generate for this series will also, of course, be available for Patreon supporters, as usual, as we do here on the channel. So this is how I do science right now. We first need to do some decisions about how we're going to do this. This is fine for now, but it's obviously capped at 2 half belts, and that's not enough. If we look at our science facility here, they're all going to be legendary, Everything's going to be legendary. Well, maybe not belts. Probably not belts. But we can see here I now currently have productivity plus 660. I think that by the time we're done, we will have, objectively, we should have plus 900. That's going to be my objective, because that means 1 science pack becomes 20 science. Because it's going to be half consumption, these biolabs only consume half, and then it's going to be plus 900%, and that means we'll be looking at plus 1 science pack equal 20. That means if we want 2 million science per minute, we have to go with 100 science packs per 100,000 science packs per minute, or if we want 1 million science per minute, how many zeros is that? That one. Then we're going to be needing. Yeah, that was divided by 20, so we need 50,000. 50,000 per minute is 833 per minute, no, per second. So this is then we divide by belts, so that means we need to have at least 4 full belts for each science pack. So 4 full belts for of science, and that's going to be our objective, and we're then going to be feeding it in into these blobs here, but they're going to be fed in as half belts. That means we need 8 rows of belts at least. But I'm going to do more than that, because I'm not so sure that we will be able to feed it all the way. So the first thing we want to do is we now have an idea for how we want to design our biolabs. So let's start doing some design. I'm going to take this out and then do some design work somewhere where we can find some space. Right. Why is there no space in my base? We are going to be just taking in here. There we go. Here's a useless little spot here. There we go. That's going to be our objective, and we might as well just get this legendary. And why is that one not coming in? And that's weird why we don't have enough of those. All right, well, I'm going to be... I need one of those. Anyway. We can do it here, but if I want this to be done, then I'm actually going to do something like this. I'm going to build it as modules of 2, but the issue is, or the thing is, I want all the belts to go in here. Maybe not like this, maybe actually like this is better. But the idea is that it must come in from one side and flow all the way through. So that's going to be our first design objective, is how are we going to do that? There, and you just go out, and then you can take that in here instead. Great. So that's our first objective. Well, if we look at it like this, then we want this to be taking up as little space as possible. And then you can go out to the next. So that's repeatable. And we're going to get it here. We can't use stack inserters because then they might get stuck. They have to be like this. Then we can take another one. And that would go from here. Could go in here. And out again. Right? Let's have a look if that is repeatable. That is repeatable. Okay, so we now have 4 science packs in, and we need 12 science packs. Those are obviously the easy ones. It doesn't get easier. Then we're going to do the next part here, which is going to be weird. Here. Like that. Can that reach all the way? Yes, it can. Okay, so that's 2 more science packs. And then we can basically do the same thing here. We can do that for down here. Flip. There we go. That goes out. So that's now 10 packs. Then you have to go up here. And like this. And then that can go here. Yeah, so that is 12 lines in here. But we do have some issues on this one, because this is kind of not great. I guess we can still do something like this here. And then that goes over and repeats on a 2-block setup. Oh, wrong way. Like that. Okay. So this one goes over, snakes back, and then repeats on 2. What about you? Can you do the same thing? Here, 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 and that one. Does that repeat with this? Yes, because it goes right out there. That means it can be repeated. Great. Okay, so then I just need this here, and then it also needs to go. Come on, delete it. There. Right, this is good. I think. I don't think I want that. Let's get you in this location. That should be enough for that. And here. Now that is the easy part. Now we have to figure out one of these is going to be the agricultural science. That means one of them is going to be full turning into to spoilage. So we're going to do spoilage, and we're going to do spoilage for all qualities, because I'm both going to use normal quality and other qualities. So that needs to go out here. But that means, what if we say force the top one to be the one that has spoilage? That should be doable, right? And then we do here. I'm going to basically say you're going to be filtering out spoilage. Nope, not legendary spoilage, but just any kind of spoilage. There we go. And then that goes out here as well. That's a pretty much a repeatable pattern as well. There we go. Which means that as it flows, it goes in here. If it's normal, it goes in. If it gets stuck in here, then it can go out. If it sort of flows in the belt, it goes out here. There's of course the issue that it can sort of get stuck. So the last one will also have another one here as well to make sure that it doesn't get stuck. So that's that should be it. Right, so now we have a pattern, and the only thing we're missing is actually lights, which is surprisingly simple, like that. And we can also put a light there. We can't put a light in this corner because that's where the power pole is. But now we have the first module that we need. This is the science module. Then let's look at how, if we get this, how would we feed this? Because the beauty of it is that it actually just, it tiles. So we can have 2 of them next to each other. So now we need to figure out, okay, how are we going to do this part when it comes to feeding it in here? That's 1, 2, and no, 1, 2, and potentially 3, yeah? And that means here, here, and here. So we're going to be doing there, here. That's 6 inbounds. And they will be... Right, so that's good. And we of course need a power pole, but that's inconsequential. There we go. And then I'm flipping it horizontally. And yeah, so now we definitely have an issue here. This one is not reaching. I could put it in here and then it will reach. Yes, so I guess we do that. From here there's nothing, and then that goes over here, and then this one will then jump into that on the next tile, but this is necessary right now. So we have to make sure that the top one is going to be agricultural science. So right now we actually have something. If we copy this down here, we can see that it actually overlapped by one, which is insanely perfect in my view. There, let's get some of these weird lines out. That one goes up here, and you can just go away from that. They have so long reach that it just gets a little bit weird. So now we have a module, or two modules technically, and we have the way to feed it. Great. So I have not really talked about how I want to get it in here, but if we look at this, this doesn't work. Even with these here. So how are we going to do this? There's only really one, well, there's two ways. One way is you put everything in here and then you let the robots do the work. The other thing is that you take it in here and then you put it on trains and then you drive the train somewhere to separate the train-fed facilities. Both are feasible. I'm going to do the brute force and ignorance where we do science packs, because I'm also going to use legendary science. So for example, you can see here we have red science as legendary. This means that this is 6 times as compact as normal science, which means that it lowers the amount of robots needed by a factor 6. This is also legendarized. This is legendarized, at least partially. This is partially legendarized. This is partially legendarized. So this is absolutely going to be legendary. So there are definitely some things that we're not going to make in normal quality. There are also things that we definitely are only going to make in normal quality, like Prometheum science. Yeah, and this is also something that's absolutely atrocious to do in normal science or in legendary science. So that's our options now. So we're going to be doing this. I mean, we need to redesign this somewhere where we can only do this. I want to build it a little bit further out, where there's a lot of space. So we're going to need to clear up some space, remove some of these solar panels, and have a good workspace for this, because it's going to need to be able to expand far out in both sides. It actually takes a surprising amount of time to get this done, but hey, we finally made it, got this out of the way. So what I want to do is I want to get some of these. Oh, definitely legendary. And we want to build it up here. Is that stuff on the ground? Yeah, it's stuff on the ground. So what I want to do is I want to make some kind of design where I have a silly amount of these ones, but I don't want them as a blob here, because I want to make sure that I can get from the shortest distance from the landing pad into these rows that I have made. And actually, as I do that, I should go up and find my new blueprint map here, book. It's very small, this blueprint book, but hey, it has something. So basically what I need to do is I need to get into something like this blob here, and I'll have to figure out how to do that. So what I want to do is we need, of course, a silly amount of roboports as well. Let's see, where do we have the roboports? Why are there no roboports up here? There they are. Let's get 50 of those. And let's also just add some of these here, so we have some available. And with these roboports, what if we, the Gleba is getting attacked. That sucks. What if we do something like this? The question is, if you make fewer roboports, then the travel distance is smaller. But on the other hand, you also have less charging capabilities. And I think you can start seeing here that my objective is we're going to go big scale. I'm actually going to kill this part because we don't want that. This part as well, and this one is still legacy thing. That's just from me cleaning up. Now we have a little bit of a disjoint network. Well, it's not disjoint, but there's a little bit of gap here. So what I'm also thinking now is, if I make this blob, oh, I forgot the loaders are the here, right? That one, and they have to be. These all obviously have to be filtered. But we can get to that. That one. Just get the architecture done, at least for this. There. So this thing here, I want to place it. If I place this sort of next to each other, all the way down, then I'm going to have an issue with the roboports. So I'm gonna have to figure out how many of these I can have and still bridge it across with roboports. And everything that is in orders of 4 is really nice. So I'm gonna look at this from this side and go like that and like that. So they are not actually connected. There is a little bit of a green in between, but that green is not a problem because it's not where I have any requesters. I only have requesters or providers down here, so I think that's going to be it. So luckily, fortunately, 4 seems to be a really good number for this. Now I also then need to look at some roboports in the middle, and like this, and then I'm going to do, ooh, that's going to be tough, flip, like this. All right. That's something. That's definitely something. We also don't need this many. No, we don't. No, we do. We do need that at some point. Okay, we'll just leave these here. And of course also the network here is a little bit weird, the electric network. So they go out here, and you definitely should not go to that one. You should go up to that one instead. Yeah? And map view, something like this. And we then need also get another row port up here, and or another power port down. Good. So now that looks, man, what's with this? These are the small things. That should not go here, and this one should not go here. Oh. This is nice. All right, let's also get some roboports. Let's continue this one so that we go all the way up, and it doesn't quite fit, but that doesn't matter. We can do this here. There we go. So we get roboports out on that side. You can keep going up here, and then I want to just make a big area. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. Oh, that one goes out. These, and this can then be as big as I want it, because this doesn't matter. This is no longer part of it. So what we have now is, if we can get one of these lines, they can at maximum take, what's the maximum they can take? The maximum they can take is a half a belt. But can I put in half a belt for this? Not really. I mean, if half a belt is 120, and I can't really get 120 on a belt with 2 legendary stack inserters. There will be a little bit of a glip there. Plus, I also want to do generally, let's see, I don't want to do it for this one because this is here. Let's do some other random one here that we can say, okay, so I want to do maybe 1000 for that. And this one, yes. And then the other one will be legendary 1000. So that's for the ones that have a little bit of mix, and that means you need to also be filtered. It's really important that this is all filtered. That one, and this one will then be filtered to legendary, right? So this is how I want to do it. So I always try to use the legendary first, and then top up with the normal ones, because they get put on the belt first. And that should go in here, and we can see it. Great. So that's kind of the idea. And some of these, like this, will have both for downwards, which will be the agricultural, and up, which will probably be the green one, for example, to match it up. But what I can do now is I can kind of get a sense of the scale of things here. That one and that one. And then let's get out on this side. That's going to be here. There you go. So that's definitely something. And now I can take you and just expand it. Expand it. Right. So this is now, I don't know how much this is. Can I see it? It takes 3.7 per second, each of these. And we only have 4 per row here, so that's not much. But how much would it take for us to consume 120? Right? You see the point here. There we go. So that'll take 32 of those. So I think that if I can just do 16 of these, right? This is 4, 8, 16 goes over here. Then there are 8 rows of half a belt. That's the same as 4 full belts, which is exactly what I need. And then if I mirror it on the other side, then I'll have to potentially, the maximum throughput could be 8 full belts or 16 half belts. But that would also require them to be rows of 32. But if I only made it rows of 16, then I think that I would... 16 times 16 is what we're going to look for, right? So 16 times 16, that's 256 science packs or science rows. That would be the same as having 8 rows of 32. And it would... And 8 rows of 32, that would be 8 rows of 120 per second. That's 940. And what we needed was this one would then be multiplied. This is how much it could throughput on per second basis. This is on minute basis. And then if I calculate it from here, if we look at it at the current tech rate, then that is first multiplied by 2, because that's the biolab efficiency. And then multiplied by 7.7, that's the plus 670%. So that would be, with the current thing, if we could make it 16 by 16, then we would get to 887,000 signs per minute, which is good. So we do have something that definitely scales. And if, oh, look at that. We also don't have solutions on Gleba yet. But what we can do from this one is just basically take the whole damn thing here, flip it, stamp it, happy. Huh. That did not seem right. Oh, right. That's because it's not actually, it's all the way like this. We have to stamp all of that and then flip and voila. And not that one. This is the only thing I have inbound of metrics, but I've set this one to off. So the only thing I have enabled is the bioflux, because if I don't have bioflux, then all my biters rebel. So that's no good. So there we have. We have actually a pretty good setup. Now I'm probably going to run out of biolab soon, so we also need to scale up our biolab production. But this is the method. This can scale up to 2 million signs per minute if we really just stretch it out to 8 rows here, 8 rows here, but they go 32 deep. We're going to basically do it like this, because this will probably be enough to consume all the signs we have. And then from here on, we can sort of double it up with 8 rows on either side to make it even faster. But then I won't be able to support it, and that's going to be more future episodes where we're going to be diving into each of the signs or each of the science ideas. Even some of them might not work. But what I need to do is now set up each and every one of these with the inputs and outputs so that we can see it actually working. I'm actually going to prepare it next to it so I can copy it in. So I prepared the module. It's here, of course, in the blueprint package as well. And we're going to be stamping it down here, 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 and here. Now that's not going to be all, because for example here I will be requesting the agricultural, which is not going to happen because it's down here. And the same up here, I'm going to request the green, which is not going to happen there because it's only that. So now I can take this build, and then I can flip it vertically. Reason why is because I need it to be mirrored so that down here is the one that has agricultural science. Then I can take again this whole thing here. Yep, YouTube compression, goodbye. With all the robots, we're not going to be looking at this generally, but it just has to be built. And stamp it down. There we go. Well, now it's going to be absolutely horrendous. Why? Because I have all my signs stacked up here. This is all the stuff that was in the storage facility, and it's now stacked up here, and then it has to go all the way, and that's going to be way too stressful for the robots, understandably. But when we get all of the science consumed, if we look at this science here, we have pretty sizable amounts of all the different sciences, and we need to get rid of that. But once we've gotten rid of that, then we can start requesting it again here, like legacy science and planetary science and then other science. And once we request that in, oh yeah, it's going to be good. But right now we're in a little bit of a limbo. So let's fast forward into a position where it is much more stable, and we can see what it looks like when it is actually in a stable situation. And here we are. This is now a little bit later in the game. We've set it up. We've just enabled the science again. You can see the robots are flying out. We have 8 lanes on either side. What that means in total is, who knows? That is 120, no, where is it? I think it should be 120. Yes, my intuition said 128. Yes, 128 legendary labs, all running smoothly. They're all at 700% productivity, so it is every science pack becomes 16 science. So that's a pretty good ratio. What is most important now, we can see here, this is going up. This is going up to 160 science percent. Well, it's going to go up to 225 science per second, science per minute. And then there's a thing here, because what I did with calculations previously was I set that the consumption rate, but that is actually the consumption rate if I do something that is not that one. If I do this one, then we will see that this jumps up to 445, and that will be easy to get. This is what I calculated earlier, where we said that if we build it, then we could get it bigger. But the science setup, this one, the research productivity is actually working at half speed, or it takes 2 minutes for each science pack. So we need twice as many labs to do that. So, you know, these ones can go up already at this point to 445, but not the legendary science. It's only lacking at stopping at 225. So that will mean that we have the whole base to be built up at 4 times this scale, which is amazing. So we definitely have something, but it is designed for it, and it is going to work. Now, what is going to be really difficult as we move forward and start working on each of the signs, because obviously this will not be able to keep up. We need some kind of notification, and I have, this is stolen blatantly somewhere from someone, shared it in my chat, and then I have added it, made it a little bit better. Here is a science monitor. What does it do? It does something, at least when these ones come in. This is something that's been made with some kind of script, so that each percentage has a value, and it makes a nice progress bar. And what I just did was I changed it all to also have it for legendary, so that we have both legendary and normal. And that means that by looking at it like this, I can basically get a sense of what is the stockpile, and it goes up to 100,000. So out of 100,000, what do I have in terms of legendaries? What do I have in terms of normals? Because some things might be lacking in normals, but that's because we have it in legendary. Other things might be a little bit of a balance. So this is a pretty good view. If only we could see this anywhere we are. If we're stuck on Gleba doing whatever we do on Gleba, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? And here comes the most secret hotkey that is super useful, but nowhere to be found. Alt, right click. That puts a pin on the map. That doesn't do anything, but the pin is now over here. That's nice. So let's click on this, and then we can click here. We can give it a nice label, such as Legendary Biolabs. We can say it's always visible. No, we don't, but we can actually scale it out a little bit to have a little bit better view. What does that mean? That means that we're stuck on here on Aquilo, we're doing something, and we're kind of interested, how's the science going? Oh, come on. That could be better. Okay, that was a underwhelming. Let's try zooming out a little bit and see if it gets better like this. Oh, that's not good. Okay. It should work. That one. Why is there nothing between these two? Can I do like 50? 49. There must be like, where does it change between two? That's map view. 33. Then it goes, okay, so 32 is the highest you can do on this view. And I definitely don't want that later here. Well, it's super useful. It could just be a little bit better here. We can actually still see it. It's still quite useful to see it. And we can probably just tweak it so it's up on top of each other. And then it will actually be a little bit more visible here. But you can see here how it progresses by just looking at the overview. You can see what's going. Then I also have notifications of which signs are lacking, and that gives you an idea about if something consistently widescreen signs lacking. You can see it's really running low, so there might be, hey, maybe green signs is something we should focus on, and that's going to be sort of what drives us moving forward. And of course, this blueprint, I can't make it myself, but I have copied it and I put it into the blueprint block as well. So that's it. That means now we have the science facility, the biolabs, and all we need to do now is just make all the 12 science in stupid quantities and then send them in. And then each episode will be one science that we're going to be looking at. And then of course there'll come all sorts of weird things that are coming up that we haven't thought about, like the logistics, like maybe optimized spaceships for transport, maybe something about expanding on Gleba. Oh, the nightmare of expanding on Gleba. You know, all sorts of things that we're going to be tackling in this series, which will be run sporadically over the summer. So check out the channel, maybe even subscribe to the channel, check out the Discord, and also we're going to be streaming this on Twitch TV while when I'm not on vacation, so we're going to be progressing with this MEGABASE. So thank you very much everyone for joining, thank you for watching, and particular thanks to the patron supporters. As my little gift to the patron supporters, I am wrapping these nicely up into blueprints so you can get those yourself and stamp them down in your own base if you feel like it. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take care and stay effective.